Joining me now on set is Republican Congressman from Kansas, Roger Marshall. He serves on the Senate Finance and Budget Committees. Senator, thanks for joining us.
Rich, glad to be here.
So you just heard Madeleine's report there. I was covering the White House back in 2016. The Obama administration was pretty clear. They didn't think that Russia hacked and changed any votes. They thought it was an influence campaign. The Senate seemed to sign off on that. This is a little off base, no?
Rich, I think there's a lot of new information coming to bear right now, information that I'd never heard of before as far as what was happening in the Oval Office, where there was a conspiracy to absolutely undermine President Trump as he took office as well. You recall back when the FISA court abuses started, you were covering that story as well. So this just makes sense. After you understood what the FISA abuse that was going on, this was the next chapter of it. I think that the Democrats never thought that President Trump could win, and now more of this is coming to light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the idea that a Senate panel that said, basically signed off on these conclusions, run by Republicans at the time, doesn't it seem to be a bridge too far to say this is a treasonous conspiracy?
Look, I think that she's uncovered new information since then. I think that there are new documents that are showing that President Obama was in the room and they did this conspiracy working with lifetime people within the political agencies, within the FBI. There was a conspiracy to try to throw out this misinformation, to try to make this an illegitimate election. So I think this is new information. I think it needs to be investigated. I think that's the job of the Attorney General, is to find the truth and deliver justice for America.
Mm-hmm. Over the past week, Congress has passed $9 billion in clawback funding. The federal government, on average, will spend $9 billion probably twice today. We had George P. Bush on yesterday from Texas. Here's what he had to say.
Frankly, $9 billion is a drop in the proverbial bucket. The real way to codify the DOGE reforms that were attacked by Elon Musk and undertaken during his time in D.C. need to be long-term and need to address entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
So what do you think, Senator? Is he right?
Well, sort of the whole backdrop of this is the $37 trillion of national debt we have. $9 billion is still a lot of money back home. When the president discovers fraud, waste, and abuse, we need to go after it. I think what America doesn't realize is that our own government accounting office, our own inspector general, has been saying for over a decade that USAID is rife with fraud and abuse. Just think back recently, $500 million bribery scream with USAID dollars, $100 million of embezzlement in Zambia recently as well. So all over the world, there's fraud, waste, and abuse. We need to go after all of it. But yes, at the end of the day, we need to go back to a regular budget process. We recently dropped a budget bill that would force Congress to go back and do its job. And just like you started home with your family and a budget and a business, is to go back and do a real budget.
On Friday, the president had a signing ceremony for the Genius Act. It's the first time that the United States has passed a major cryptocurrency bill. What does that mean for the U.S.? And there's some criticism that maybe it doesn't regulate enough. What do you think?
Well, I think that this is a great start. I'm a doctor. The first thing we learn, even before med school, is the skeleton. So think of this as the skeleton to preserve and protect the stablecoin industry. This is real important for consumers. It's going to make sure that when they're investing in crypto, it's pegged 1-to-1 with the U.S. dollar. So it's good for consumers. I think it's going to keep the U.S. dollar dominant. It's going to promote innovation. When you put a few rules around it, those people that are innovators are ready to move forward as well. And I know that you care a lot about national security. So I think that this is a step forward in preventing some of the money laundering schemes that we see going across the world as well. So this is a great first step. Yes, it's going to take more. Think back to the internet in 1996. We wanted to put some guardrails around it, but not stifle the innovation.
Mm-hmm. And there's a couple more bills that the House has sent over to you guys, right? What's the point of those? What's next for the crypto industry and regulation and whatever comes out of Congress?
I'll go back to my analogy of the skeleton. You learn the skeleton, and then you have to put muscles on it and organs and the nervous system. So I think that how much more consumer protection do we need? What else can we do to really make sure that these financial institutions that are issuing the coins are held up to a standards of, say, a bank know your customer type of philosophy as well. So there's more to be done, but this was the low-hanging fruit. This is what we could get 60 votes in the Senate for. We may struggle doing any more this year, but we'll see.
Okay, and you look forward to, you've got the president now saying that Leader Thune, called him very talented, should cancel August recess, end long weekends going forward so that you guys can get more judicial nominees through. Are you supportive of hanging around? It's very hot. here in August, but are you supportive of hanging around D.C. to take care of these judicial nominees?
Absolutely, and certainly I want to agree with the president that Leader Thune is very talented and he's doing an incredible job. Right now, I've talked to many of the secretaries, the cabinet members, Billy Long over at IRS, and they're drowning. They're drowning because the swamp is so deep here, and they need more political appointees to help them get through this swamp and get their job done. So absolutely, I'm willing to do it. Look, I've worked weekends my whole life. I don't know what a vacation even means. I'm happy to stay here as long as we're working.
Well, you are here, and it is a weekend. So, Senator Marshall, thanks for joining us. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you.